So let's talk sacrifices to the Watcher.
Necronomicon is coming.
So first off, let me say, holy crap, I got 500 plus subscribers. Thanks to everybody that has been coming around watching my videos. I know I haven't posted in a while, but I finished a crazy job, and wow, it was a lot. I don't really know what to do with the mental energy anymore, which is why now I am going back through my Lamadingir manuscript, and I am basically chopping it up, making it a companion book to the Necronomicon, so you can have both of them open in front of you, and you can work through the Necro with all my tricks, tips, and all that good stuff. And I'm thinking I'm actually going to make it a little bit of a workbook too, with some free spaces, so you guys can plan out your gatewalking and take some notes on different things, and just generally try to help people and kind of think of what would I have liked to have a couple of years ago when I started with it. Would you not bite me, Teeny? I don't know what the cat's doing here. They're all hungry, but I fed them already, so whatever. So back to the topic. And also, thanks for everybody that's been watching my videos and subscribing. Wow, keep sending me emails, good stuff. But, so, sacrifices to the Watcher. I was rewriting that part of my manuscript literally just before I started making this video while I'm sitting here, and I kind of thought that there were some pointers that other people might, it might make more sense to them with the Watcher if I go over it. So, in the book it says, not too small or the Watcher will get angry, not too big or the Watcher will become powerful and consume the priest. And, if you don't cast the, well, I gotta stay on topic here, guys. So, what I kind of came up with is when you have your Watcher Bowl, which once again can be made of anything, really, there's no specifics in there, save that you can have a fire in it. My Watcher Bowl, which of course, as you guys know, is made from a salsa bowl, is right here. It's not upstairs anymore. Because technically I'm upstairs, but I'm not in my basement, and I'm not in the upstairs room, but there's a set of stairs below me, so yes, I am upstairs. Anyway, so the sacrifice to the Watcher, I would say, which has to be pine resin or new bread, should be no bigger than your fist. Now, why would I say that? I would say that it should be no bigger than your fist, because you have to think about what the Watcher embodies, what the Watcher symbolizes, what really is the Watcher. So if you go into the allegorical meaning of the Necronomicon, and what the text actually tells you is that the Watcher was an ancient one but did not like what the ancient ones were doing, so he decided to change teams and work with Marduk's side. So then you have to take a look at what's the psychological, allegorical, magical meaning between the Marduk's side and the Ancient One's side. And let me go into that a little bit here. So Marduk and the Elder Gods really have to do with materialism. Materialism and rules, not being too greedy, too selfish, too much of a, I'm just gonna go with the rule from Reddit. Don't be a dick, and just don't be too selfish and all that stuff. And that's like higher order thinking, the moral thinking. Yeah, I want this, but is it a good idea right now? Yes, I need this, but am I hurting somebody else by doing it? It's all that higher order thinking. Well, on the flip side, what's the Ancient Ones? The Ancient Ones is our carnal natures. It's the id from Freudian psychology. It's our deep-seated natures to eat, to sleep, to go to the bathroom, to have relations, if you know what I mean. And just all of those instincts that we have to survive, to fight, or fight or flight, fight, flight, or freeze. Although freezing really isn't an ancient one kind of deal. But you get the point. So, if the Watcher was an ancient one, what is he concerned with? He's concerned with the protection, with that fight nature. The watcher really embodies your subconscious, which is deep down inside of you. If you look at it chakra wise, it's at the base of all your chakras, at the root chakra, and then it travels its way up as you gate walk, because each of the gates corresponds to a chakra, and you're raising it up that way. Looking at Kundalini stuff like that, they kind of all interplay there. And so basically, through the gate walking and working with the watcher, you are really ripping your subconscious out of you, and you are putting it into a vessel, and you are observing it as a separate being. You are working with it as a separate being. What is the point of the gate walking? The gate walking is taking all of our subconscious crap, observing it, and changing it. So what we have way deep in here, or in Ritual's case, in here, we are cleaning it out. We are not letting it run our lives. We are running it. It is no longer an ancient one run amok, just doing what it wants. It becomes a follower of Marduk, doing things within moral constraints. When you make that proper sacrifice to the Watcher, you are feeding your subconscious by paying attention to it, by summoning it, and even, well, I think I've talked about this in other videos, but you can actually work with your Watcher. You can summon it and meditate with it to kind of find out what's going on in your deep subconscious. But anytime that you work with a thought form or an egregore, you have to feed it. And think of it this way: if you were charged with a set of random numbers in the morning that was like on your kitchen table when you woke up, you were only able to read it once, but you were told that you had to remember it, and you were going to have a test on it when you got home from work, and you had to remember it all. Could you just read it that one? And some people could do this, of course, whatever, but just go with me here. Could you read it once, or maybe a couple of times, before you left the house, then go about your day, and then instantly come home and being able to write it down the first try, one off? Boom. Chances are no, because you're not feeding that idea. Now, if you were able to repeat that same set of numbers in your head, like every 5 minutes, or maybe even every 30 seconds, what have you, the entire day, then you are feeding that idea, which is why you're able to remember it and why it's able to stay with you. Jeez, can you not knock stuff over? These cats are nuts. Nut jobs. I love them all. But anywho, so you are feeding an idea. When you make a sacrifice to your Watcher, you are feeding it with an appropriate amount. So remember, allegorically, it's the size of your fist, because the Watcher represents your id. It's what you want. It's your carnal nature to get what you want, to grab at it or to fight it. You get the idea, I hope. And even when you put the appropriate sacrifice in there, you can see that smoke rising up for a certain amount of time, which attracts your attention to it. Not to mention that when you are putting that all together and you are repeating that Ia Masaratu, Ziki Akanpa, Bargolomo Loneth Kiashita, and things like that, you are paying attention to this idea that you are ripping your subconscious out and you are creating a being from there. The blood of Kingu inside you, which blood is a very carnal thing. I think that carnal actually relates to blood, but I'm not sure. Check the linguistics on that if you guys want. I don't know. Something in my head says it ties in, but I don't know. But anyway, it's that base nature. And when you are doing that, you are feeding it, and you have to feed it the correct amount. Because like I said before, you cannot just give something a little bit of attention and expect it to work for you. Now, too little, we went over that just now. I think I repeated myself maybe once. Too much. Well, if you are paying too much attention to your subconscious in like everyday life, then that means you were just going with, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. You are running people over just because you want something. You are hurting other people's feelings because what you want is what you are going to get, and you don't care how to get it. Is that appropriate? Sometimes, yes. Like survival? Absolutely. But you're not going to railroad everybody in your family or your life just to get what you want. Think about addicts, for example. Those people that they find a way to get the money to get their fix. They railroad their whole family. And is that good? No. That's like feeding your Watcher too much. You're paying too much attention to it. So in a magical sense, if you give your watcher too much of a sacrifice, that means you are ripping too much of your subconscious out and too much attention to it. And you create a being, albeit temporarily, although I'll talk about the other part of that in a second, that could be very harmful. And if it grows too big, then when you merge with it at the end of a ritual, when the energy goes away and all that, then you're going to be running on subconscious, on greediness. And potentially, if I had a gigantic pile of pine resin and bread, right, and I was to burn it in here, potentially you could create an entity that runs off on its own. Thought forms, egregores, and things like that, sometimes they can become so powerful that they roam freely. There's plenty of cases of that. I remember one that was featured on my favorite TV series back in the day. I think it's called Haunted or A Haunting. Both of those shows I think are pretty good. I can't remember which one it's from, but this woman had so many badly suppressed feelings that it created a thought form that just wreaked havoc over her whole family. And that's what you run the risk of running into is essentially creating a poltergeist. So that's why I say you got to think allegorically with a lot of these things and what kind of just makes sense, if that phrase makes sense. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments. Thanks for everybody that's subscribing, and also thanks for those people that come on my channel and give me views, so my ratings go up, and then they tell me that the Necronomicon is crap, because even if you watch my video and you call crap on it, guess what? I still get a view. So thanks. Anyway, good hunting.